everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Two Sisters, One Book. I'm Carla.
And I'm Amanda. We're two sisters, two moms, tackling one book at a time. Yay! So we combined
Yes!
2 episodes into one. So we are very sorry for everybody who is following along, but we read chapters 4 through 9. Right, Carla?
Yes, we did. No. Just so everybody knows, I actually didn't read 9. I read 4 through 8, and then Amanda's like, no. We have to do another chapter. And I was like, okay. So I had to go back and reread it, but I'm caught up, you guys. So if you are not caught up, make sure you guys go and catch up and read 4 through 9.
Yeah, through 9. We are back for episode 2, but it's 2 episodes in one. So are you ready for this? That was exciting, was it not?
I am. Yeah, that was really exciting. There was a lot that we got to read, and I'm really glad we added those extra 3 chapters because we got a lot of information and some of our questions from episode 1 were answered. So, yeah, I'm excited we kept going.
Yeah, I was getting like the Last Airbender vibe. Like, it was kind of cool. I guess we'll get into it later, but yeah, did you want to start us off?
Yeah, let's do it. So, basically, we started off these chapters where they were all leaving, and they were all leaving to head over to the village of, I think it was Labankit, and they were on their way out there to go and I guess kind of get ready for the testing process, but they wanted to get out there early to kind of scout the area and get things figured out. So, yeah.
But yeah, they're leaving their camp, and they even said this is Nadia's first time leaving her father. Actually, it's the first time everybody leaving each other because they've always been together during this war. But they run into a cute little situation, I think, on the second day of traveling. They run into this little boy and his sister, which I wonder if we're going to get more of this situation. Like, where did they come from? Where are they going? Like, is he fleeing? Like, what's happening here, you know? But
Yeah.
they seem like they've probably lost their parents. And I feel like a little more as we see what the testing site was, they could have lost their parents, you know?
Yeah, it seems like they're leaving the testing facility. Like they're trying to get out of there.
Yeah, like they've kind of been abandoned or orphaned, right? Like they have nothing. The little girl seems scared and hungry, but then it was just, I want more. Like I need more, and watch it be one of those situations where it's like, oh, I didn't think you guys would look too much into it. But here we are. But we do see what's his name again?
Aldi?
Oh, you call him Aldi, I call him A. Okay, so we see A giving up his extra rations, and then Lyra giving up her dagger to them. So that whole exchange, I'm kind of hoping we do see more. But then they continue and they see this cute little town that's being rebuilt, and it was destroyed by the war and everything. But you could tell that it's being rebuilt for the testing site. That's kind of frustrating.
Really quickly, what did you think of the voice that was talking to Lyra? Because originally she thought that this was just a voice in her head, but really this is an actual person talking to her. She has some type of like mental connection with someone. But it was really interesting because it was like whoever this voice was, it was like clearly talking to her in like an intimate way. So it's like, who are you? How are you connected to her mind? And how has she never known that whoever this person is who's like infiltrating her mind is an actual person? Like, I don't know. I was really intrigued by this whole voice that was going on in her mind.
I don't know, but it's interesting how he doesn't even know her name because he was asking her.
Yeah, he's like, what's your name? And, are you going to finally tell it to me? He calls her like Ember. Like, clearly, whoever this person is, I almost feel like, I don't know. I don't even have really any hints of who this person can be, but I do feel like this is going to be something that is going to open a lot of doors to the story in the future.
Yeah, I feel like the Ember too is a sign that she has the fire power in her too. And she probably has her mom's power. And like how we talked about, she probably has all of them. Because Yeah, I guess we'll get to that later, but
Hmm.
that little voice is cute because he's
Yeah.
like her little cheerleader, keeping her going from when
Hmm.
we first hear his voice till basically the end of the scene that we left too. So
Yeah. So, but yeah, so they make it to this city of what is it called? Lavenkit. And it was actually like really sad because it's supposed to be this city where it was, well put together and there was a lot of children that were playing, like that's what it was known for. And then clearly as the war has happened, we are seeing that this city was completely torn to the ground. Like it's kind of brought down in ashes and the houses are kind of falling apart and it's almost like I don't want to say deserted because it's not deserted. There's people that are living there, but it would feel more like one of those cities you'd walk into. Like I'm thinking about like those what were those old tech like um
all the Western movies that are like
yeah, those yeah, where the
you see
doors
a
are like
tumbleweed.
yeah, doors are flinging open.
Oh
That's what
gosh.
I'm picturing. I'm picturing that when I see it. So,
Oh man, that's so
but yeah,
sad.
it was. It seemed really sad. And of course, like it just goes to show that the king clearly doesn't care about anything around and what this war, or we don't even really know. I mean, I'm assuming it's from the war, but it also could be maybe the king going through and like taking over and destroying things. As we know, he's clearly looking for something. But the one thing that's been built is this it's like a guild hall of some sort. And that's, I guess, where they're going to be doing their testing. And I thought it was interesting because it seems like the people don't even know what they're doing there. They just know that they're going to have a lot of people coming into their city.
Yeah, well, we've met the king. We met the people that are working for him. They're like, this is what you're going to do. No questions. Better not say
Yeah.
nothing. And it's like, these people probably have no idea what's going on. But yeah, no, when I read that scene of the town, I instantly thought of like World War II, where like the towns got bombs because it said it looked like it was burned and ashes. Then when you have soldiers walking through it, it's like not abandoned, but you see the villagers trying to put their town back together. Just like how
Hmm.
our barkeep was saying that his inn has majority of the villagers staying in there and everything is like from people's houses or like just trying to be rebuilt. So
Yeah.
and you could tell that the innkeeper guy is irritated that this whole situation is happening in his town. So because they have
Yeah.
nothing. They have absolutely nothing. So
Well, yeah, it goes to show that this town has been completely just, it got wiped out and nobody seems to care. And even Lyra was saying that they tried to help rebuild the town while they were there and they didn't have enough coin, is what they called it. Like they didn't have enough money. And then it seems like the resources just weren't there either, so the resources to help rebuild this town are clearly being used elsewhere. And I can tell you that if we were to see the King's Kingdom, it would probably be lavish and there's so many things going on and it's probably gorgeous and beautiful. So it's really sad that you can see, I guess you can see the motives behind the king where he seems very selfish and he's obviously in it for himself and he's all about power and he doesn't care about what's going on in the little towns around him as long as he is set. That's all that matters.
he's like dressed up in gold, flat out
Hmm.
gold. Like, and what was the saying? Because the soldiers were walking through, they changed their saying where the lions are here and we're here to protect you too. And she goes,
Yeah.
that's new. They changed it. But what was it before? Like, we're here. I kind of worded it like, we're here to conquer you. Like, we're here to take over you guys.
Yeah. Let me
Right?
find
Was
it.
it? I know. I was just like, wow. He's won now. So now he's like, I'm here to protect you guys. But before it was like, kind of seemed like, okay, we're here to conquer you.
Yeah, it was really I remember when I saw it or when I read it, I was like, well, that's kind of crazy. Okay, so it goes it okay, so it currently is lions marching to their victory, lions leading true. Lions will protect me, and now they protect you. So it sort of seems like they're trying to make it seem like, oh, we're here to protect you. Um, that they're supposed to be the good people. But before the war was completed and that they won, it was lions marching to their victory, lions leading true. Lions claim the world, and now they claim you. So it definitely, yeah, it seems very like controlling, and only after their victory did they change it. So that was pretty interesting.
Gosh. He gives I don't like the king. But
Yeah.
yeah. So we hear them marching through saying that, and then as we get closer to the test site, what did you think of that whole testing situation from the first kid that went in to Lyra being taken out?
Very controlling. I got Hunger Game vibes. I don't know why, but in my
I
mind, I
did.
was I was totally picturing like a Hunger Games type of thing. Like you have all these people who are poor, who are living like barely living with anything, and it's like we're coming in and we're going to, not that this is what happened in Hunger Games, but that's just kind of the vibes I got. But it seemed like they were trying to, not that they were necessarily testing people for figuring out if you're fire or if you're water or if you're earth. I definitely got the vibe that they were looking for something. And I think I mentioned this last episode where I feel like maybe Lyra's family had some type of extra element, like an extra elemental power that they were trying to wipe out, which I guess I was kind of correct in that theory. But
I think we both said something about that.
we might have, yeah. I definitely, the testing seemed very odd. And I was expecting something to happen with Lyra. I was like, there's no way that this girl is just a regular, I don't want to call her human, but a regular fae. There has to be something more to her. I just didn't know what it was going to be. So yeah, the testing was a little, I don't know. It seemed like they were definitely looking for something.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting too because we see people going in before them and we hear screaming and everything. Then we see people getting knocked out, and it's like, what the heck just happened in there? And then as
Yeah.
we see Lyra go in, they're like, you're going to touch each stone, but you're not allowed to say anything. No questions asked. So she touched each stone and nothing happened. And then
Mhm.
Cotty goes in, and we find out that she's a fire person because the fire gets stronger with her. But there was still no screaming for either of these two. And then each character goes in one by one. And it turns out
Yeah.
that A is not the only one with powers, but it was just interesting. Like, where did the screaming come from? And why did these, like that kid, why did he get knocked out? Why did he look dead? Was it the firestone that knocked him out? Like, so much pain went through them. Was he not able to finish the test? Is that why? Like, I have questions, but I'm sure they're going to get answered.
Yeah.
Or I'm overthinking it. I'm probably overthinking it.
Well, it does make you wonder, like, why is it that some people are passing out and some weren't? Because we know that, like, Nadia goes in and she had no power. It was clearly she was just basically kept the same uniform. She didn't have any powers. Everything stays the same for her, but she didn't pass out. So it makes me wonder, like, with this boy who went in, she hears screaming and then he gets dragged out. Was he fighting the test? Was he maybe somebody who didn't want to get tested? And so they knocked him out and they put him off to the side, like, okay, well, we'll test him again later. I don't know. Um, but I did think it was kind of strange. Now, obviously, we know what happened to the people who disappeared, but I did think it was interesting that we have what out of Nadia, Aldi, Katie, Misk, and Lyra. So out of the 5 people that we have gotten to know in this book, 4 of them have powers, technically. Nadia is the only one who basically stayed the same, but you have um Katie, who is now a fire slash lion shifter. And then you have Misk, who is a water slash dragon shifter. We already obviously knew about Aldi, like he is, he's had Earth the entire time, so we knew that. And then he's a wolf shifter, and then Nadia has nothing. But then we have Lyra, who technically doesn't not have powers, but there's no listed power for her. But what did you think about the other people and the powers they got? Is it something you expected or no?
No, I wasn't expecting any of that. But then you got to think. So Katie went in when she was 15,
Ugh.
like just turned 15. So she wasn't really probably grown into her powers, and she probably wasn't around an element to see if she had those powers. And we don't know about Misk because Misk has the water powers. So it's just like, how old was he when he went in? And it's just, have they been suppressed this whole time? Did they not like? when they were around fire, did she get the urge of like feeling a little bit stronger? Because they were so young when they were separated from basically the world,
Yeah.
put into a war camp.
Yeah, and
So
it would
it's,
make sense that like Aldi would know his power because he's around soil and dirt all the time being in the war. So maybe that makes sense. I think you are onto something where they just weren't exposed to the element.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And then we see that Lyra did the test twice. The same results came out, and then she was taken to the dungeon. What? You just have a random dungeon built in this thing? Like, what the heck? So you already knew something was going to happen. This king is
Mhm.
crazy. But there was more, there's a lot of people down there, and she meets the mom of the boy that we mentioned earlier who was carried out and thrown into a pile of other people who were knocked out, but
Yeah.
they were all tested again. And
Yeah.
what did you think of the one guy who said just one small word, asked a question, and then they killed him for it?
Oh yeah, no, that I was like, okay, everybody shut up. Nobody say a word.
I know. Now it makes
Nobody
sense on
talk.
why everybody was dead quiet down there. But I thought it was interesting how they had, at first, before we got deeper into it, they had iron bars
Mhm.
because they were all Fae. So,
Yeah.
of course, the iron burns them. And I wasn't expecting our king to not be Fae, you know?
I was not expecting that either. I really thought he was going to be Fae. So when he was touching the iron bars and obviously Lyra's like, well, clearly he's not Fae. I was like, well, that's pretty convenient for him.
Right? I love that twist on it because I wasn't expecting it. Yeah, the
Yeah.
tick, 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 tick. I was like, how come he gets to touch it? Like, what's so special? And then we find out, like, he's just a normal little dude, but
Yeah.
who's
No,
very mean.
yeah. And if you think about like even just going back to like when Lyra was taking the test, she does mention that when she put her hands in the fire, that it didn't really burn, but she kept her hand there. Like she felt it, but she's like, okay, like everything's good. And then she does the same thing with the water and then the same thing with the soil. So as I was reading it, I was trying to figure out, well, what did she do that was different than what Nadia did? Because Nadia also didn't have any reaction. But then Nadia, when she touched it, everything kind of got smaller. Like the fire got smaller, the water got smaller. And the only difference would be that Lyra didn't feel any pain associated with it. So is that how they are deciphering the difference between someone without power and somebody who has a potential of a different element? I mean, that's what I was trying to
Maybe.
figure out.
Maybe because she couldn't scream. But did you like how when she did it again, there was a breeze and she's like, there's no draft coming in. Where's this breeze coming from? So
Mm-hmm.
now it all makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
what they
maybe
were
that's
doing
why.
is, yeah, they were taking away the people and putting them in the dungeon who had this, I guess, fourth elemental power that really isn't known to the people yet. And they're going to retest them down below, which we know that the test they were doing was clearly all air-based test.
Yeah. Or maybe it's because they didn't scream. Everybody they've taken out and not in the dungeons is the one who screamed. But
Mm,
even the paper guy who was writing everything down said, don't scream. So maybe they were
yeah.
just strong enough to hold in their scream. So now they're like, okay, there's something different about them because they didn't scream, but all these other guys screamed and passed out, you know?
Yeah, well, because if you think about it, if you're going to touch fire and you just have to hold your hand to the fire, I mean, I'm just going to go on a whim here and assume that you're going to probably scream because it's going to hurt, right?
But not only that, you're going from fire and then the water she said was like ice. So can you imagine
Yeah,
burning yourself and then touching right after that ice? Like I
yeah,
would scream too. That would hurt like heck. And then what was it? The what did the earth do to her? Was it itchy or burning or something?
yeah. It like scraped against her skin, and she was
Like
bleeding.
sandpaper. Yeah, it felt like
Yeah,
sandpaper. So now you have a burnt hand. So it's like pain after pain after pain.
yeah,
I would
and she
pass
had no
out.
pain with it. Yeah, she had no pain associated. So actually, that does make sense if we go back to maybe why the boy passed out and why these other people were passed out and screaming. It's probably due to the fact that they did feel some type of pain, which then alerted the people taking the notes, like, okay, this person clearly has no power. And because Lyra didn't make any noises or movements, she didn't have any pain associated with it. It maybe led them to believe, okay, we need to test her downstairs in the air one. And it's like, they even said, I think the king, doesn't he say something like, we didn't want an audience or something, or we wanted a
Yeah.
specific audience. It's like, so they're obviously trying to hide the fact that there is this fourth element of power. And I guess, yeah, we can talk about that a little bit more later on what that is. But it was just, I don't know. I think with this other element, it's like the king is trying to look for it, but he doesn't want everybody else knowing about it. That's kind of the vibes I got.
Yeah, because even when they were down there, he did say, I didn't want an audience for this, and I didn't want to be interrupted for this. And then right when he was slowly taking people away, because um once again, he tested them in a different cell. People were screaming, not coming back. And then certain people were coming back. But even Lyra said, we're down here. No one knows we're down here, and no one will ever find us. So you're
Right.
right. He did it so perfectly where he could hide the evidence of what he's doing down there because nobody's ever going
Right.
to track them down.
Yeah. Well, and even like Lyra obviously had no idea that she contained any type of additional power. She didn't even know that she was anything besides just Fae. She thought she was what, like powerless, that she had no elemental power. So the fact that it's like you have all these people who probably have no idea that they contain this power, and they're sitting there in the dungeon, which sounds like they're bored as heck. I mean, I would be. Lyra's walking in a circle, like, what is going on? There's probably no windows, there's no clocks, nobody knows what time it is, and they're just waiting for something. And then here comes the king, and he's like, all right, we're gonna test you guys. It's like, what is
Yeah.
happening?
And that test was weird. So he like made you grab the corner of the wall and kind of twist, but blow out all your air. Like, is that like a way of like, are you going to start a tornado or like what? But I was just like, um, there was just something funny going through my head because I thought of the last airbender and everything. I was like, dude, I would just go like this and like, I don't know. But of course she didn't know what she had at the time. But that king was like, what would have happened? Why did the people scream? Like, what made it scream? You know?
Well, and then like he also, didn't he have her do something where she had to, like, I don't know if she held her breath or something, but he kind of like pushed her, and she says that she just kind of fell back, like almost like she was acting, but she kind of just fell back for it. But she's like, "Oh, he's a pretty weak king." So it makes
Yeah.
me wonder that if you're sucking in all this air, is it almost like gravity, like a gravity feeling where you have all this air inside you, so you're basically like rock solid hard? That's kind of what I was wondering.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. But
Maybe. You don't
yeah,
know.
and we don't know because we didn't really, the king just tests her. He's like, okay, do this, do that. But then he doesn't say, oh, this is what's happening. We don't actually hear the results of the test. We just know that she had to do these things. And then he says, okay, send her back to her cell, which tells me that if she's going back to the cell, then that means that he needs to hold on to her longer. So that tells me that whatever test he was giving her, she passed in the sense of her having this fourth elemental power. Because if she didn't have it, I would think that he would just let her go.
Or she would have been dead like everybody else.
Right.
I don't
That's
think
true.
anybody down there is leaving, is my thought.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we'll find out, I guess. But we do know that this, she says, as she was walking, like a ton of the cells were empty. So, like, what happened to those people? Like,
They died.
I know. And so that tells me, like, these people who may not have had any power are just what? Like, they're what is that word? Why can't I think of the word? Expendable. They're just
Expunged.
expendable.
Expendable.
Yeah, like
Expendable.
ex-
They're easy to get rid of.
spongeable.
I'm trying to add two words in one, okay? It's gonna take off and people are gonna start saying it too. They're like,
We're
oh
gonna see it in
gosh.
the new Urban Dictionary. Two sisters, one book created this. No, I'm just kidding.
Expungable. But yeah.
Expungable. Yeah. So then
Uh,
the chapter that I actually had, didn't read, that I ended up reading after, was actually really really sweet, because Lyra she's in her cell, and she just knows that she just took this test, and this woman who's next to her, who
Whose
actually
name
was
is
the
Mira.
mother, whose name is Mira, who's her she had the boy, right? Her
Yes.
child was the one who passed out. And Lyra, she begins to talk to Lyra and tells her all about her family history.
Well, yeah, which was really exciting because she was one of the maids that actually took care of Lyra. So we see that she was the one who tried to protect Lyra and get her out of that situation when the mother was taken. But she did tell her that the Ashen Arrows were one of the strongest families that was
Mm-hmm.
around. So of course the king went with her. And the dad was fire, but he was born a fire dragon. And then the mom had, I'm gonna say it, airbending skills. She's an airbender. And yeah, so that was kind of a sweet moment, kind of sad, but Mira knew
Mm-hmm.
exactly who Lyra was. She goes, "You look just like your mother." And it was crazy how she said that every 100 years that this power comes about.
Yeah, new
So
power.
a new power, but I feel like we could already see it manifesting in Lyra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I actually have to say I really liked this scene because this scene, or I should say this specific chapter, gives us a different look into what happened into the prologue. So in the beginning of the book, when we read this, we see this situation coming from Lyra's perspective. And as a kid, she's like, I'm hiding. And, she sees what happens to her mother, but she doesn't quite understand what's going on. And then in this chapter, we're being told what happened that night, but we're being told from the maid Mira's perspective, who tells her, like, what's the king's name? Garrick? Is that his name?
Yeah, Garrick.
Yeah,
Garrick
that
wants them.
Garrick. Yeah, he knew that the ashen arrows were more powerful than he was, and he wasn't going to allow any other power or family to take over or basically be more powerful than him. So he was telling anybody, if you have this specific power or you're stronger than me, then you have to work below me. And it goes back to even when they sent out that letter. They said, no matter what power you have, the royals will always keep the crown. So it didn't matter if you were more stronger than the king or less stronger than the king, you're all lower in ranking to him. So yeah, I found that interesting. And Mira tells her that your mother had the power of air. So that was cool. We found out that
Yeah.
that's most likely what it is.
And we also find out that when that whole situation happened, the magic died with it. As she
Mm-hmm.
said, 24 years ago, the magic died, and the king's been trying to find this magic.
Do you think that this entire additional testing was to find Lyra or to see
Yeah.
if Lyra was still around?
Yes. I feel like this whole additional testing was to find out because I feel like the king knows that there's a power still, like somewhere. I just don't think he knows where or if he knows Lyra is alive. But she even said, like, he's a very controlling. She never thought that. I think that he is looking
Yeah.
for Lyra. I don't think that he believes that she died. Hence why he's probably capturing everybody who kind of has the similarities of no pain, you do this, you do that, you know?
Yeah, because when I think Nero is the one who tells Lyra that the king had a feeling that the daughter of the mother would have this power, but she was too young at the time for it to manifest. So that's why he wanted Lyra so badly when he went there. And he was telling the mom, like, tell me where she is. Where's your daughter? And she wouldn't tell her. So when he left, he just assumed, well, she's out in the cold. If I can't have her, nobody's going to have her. She's not going to survive this. And that's that. So I do think that now they're coming back to try to find out, is Lyra still out here or is she gone? And I think unfortunately, I think he's going to find her.
Yeah, especially if, well, I feel like it's different because Mira did grow up with her, or Lyra grew up with Mira. But I was like, man, if Mira could identify her 24 years later, but she did
Yeah.
probably spend a lot of time with the mother too. I feel like the king could identify her, like, you look oddly familiar to me, like type situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
So, yeah, I'm curious to know how many people are still in the dungeons, because it seems like if there's not a lot of people left, I mean, I would think that Lyra is probably the only one with this power, because if her mom was the one person out of every 100 years who got this additional new elemental power or whatever, then it would make sense why her daughter would have it. And so it's like, who else could have it? The only person that would have it would be Lyra. So I'm wondering what's going to happen with the people who came back from the dungeons who they were suspicious about, and
I
how many
think they're
people
all
there
gonna
actually
die.
were.
I think no one's coming out of there.
Hmm.
They're dying. They're gonna die
Yeah,
unless
but we
there's
do know,
a
we do
rescue
know Mira
mission.
went in. Mira, yeah, because Mira went in and took the test, and then she came back, which I can't imagine she has the power. But do you think that the king is looking at her like, well, you worked with the royal family,
I
so
think
you
it's
must know
that.
something?
I think it's that, and
Yeah.
she probably didn't, because she took the test, but she take it after her son, and she just didn't scream, she didn't pass out or whatever. I feel like more people could handle that situation differently, but maybe he does look
Yeah.
at her like, oh, you look oddly familiar too. Like I know that you helped them or something. But then it could be scary too, because what if
Hmm.
she's working for the king and getting all this information and she's just like,
Ooh.
I think this is Lyra because she passed all this and she didn't feel anything. So let's set up a trap for her. And I need you to get the information and act like you're the maid. But the mayor did know a lot of information. She knew the dad's name. She knew the brother's name. She knew the dad had fire. She knew the brother had fire. And then Lyra started getting memories too. So that completely crossed it out. But Mira did go through a lot
Hmm.
before we end this episode. She lost her husband and her son in the war, but she did get remarried. And I feel like that's
Hmm.
who this son came from, is the new marriage, right?
I would think so. And just so everyone knows, the son that passed out, he just passed out. He from what
He's
we
still
learned,
alive.
he's good.
His heart
So,
is strong, but she played a good acting role. Like what was it when they went down there? She was like people could see what I'm doing. What am I doing? Like rocking back and forth, kind of acting like she kind of lost her mind. So I'm
yeah.
very curious to see like what is she up to? I feel like she's up to something, you know?
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting. So, all right. Yeah. So I guess we're going to find out what happens in the next few chapters we read. So you and I are going to go ahead and read the next 5 chapters. And I think we're going to have a lot to talk about. I think we're going to find out a lot more about this air power that's coming in and how strong our girl Lyra is. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Is it going to be Lyra to help them escape that dungeon, or is A going to come through like she was thinking to help them escape that dungeon?
You know, I want to say it's going to be Aldi, but I think our girl Lyra is going to figure something out and get everybody out of there. I kind of think that's what's going to happen.
She's going to blow everybody away.
I know. Well, she even talked about trying to squeeze through the bars, even though it was
Oh
going to
my
hurt her
gosh.
hands. So,
Jeez.
you know, what do
You
you
get it,
think? You think
girlfriend.
it's going to be Aldi, or do you think it's going to be Lyra that breaks him out?
Oh, that's so hard. I want it to be Aldi, but I have a feeling that it might be her.
Yeah.
She's probably gonna find a way out of there, and then they're gonna escape, and then you'll see Aldi trying to figure out like where the heck have you been type thing, you know? Or what
Yeah.
if the guards say, "Oh, she died" or something? But I don't think Aldi would leave that place thinking that his sister died. I think he would burn the
Yeah.
whole place down.
Well, we
So,
did have that one guard who went to like grab his keys to let her out. And I couldn't tell if that was, first, I'm thinking, is Lyra mind controlling him into freeing her?
or is that A?
I know. Or I was thinking, is that Aldi? Or I was like, is this guard just feeling really guilty because maybe he has some family member that's been treated this way? I don't know. But I guess we're going to have to find out.
Or he knows that it's Lyra. Oh no. Okay, so many stuff happening now.
Or
All
he's the
right.
voice. Or he's the voice. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. So many theories. So,
This is great.
um, yeah, but I guess, is there anything else you want to add before we end the episode?
No, but we love you guys.
We do. So, yes, make sure if you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple that you hit the subscribe button, share this with a friend. Let us know where you guys are listening to this. Go ahead and tag us in your story so we can see exactly where you guys are listening to us. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you like it, give it a thumbs up. We are having a lot of fun doing this with you guys. It has been an absolute blast. Make sure you guys read the next 5 chapters. Follow us on social media, Two Sisters, One Book. We are on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. But yeah, other than that, happy reading, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.